Okay, we're good.
Yeah, they coastal discharged me because they called me. I had an appointment on a Friday. What was it? February 9th. That is a Friday, correct?
Coming up.
Yeah, coming up
Mm-hmm.
Friday. Yeah, I had an appointment on February 9th, but they called and said my psychiatric doctor wasn't going to be available that day and could they move it? And I was like, sure. So we moved it. And then I looked at my schedule. I was like, no, I actually got a dental appointment that day that they was trying to move it to. So I was like, is there any other day? And she was looking in the system. And while we on the phone talking, there's people at the front. She at the front desk, and there's people, bunch of people laughing in the background. And I said to her, like, can you please tell them to quiet down? Me and you having a conversation, and they're being unprofessional. And she was like, no, I cannot do that. So I said, fuck you, hung the phone up. And, you know, call back to try to make an appointment for the following week because, I had availability. And when they picked up the phone, it was like, oh, we're discharging you. We have a no profanity policy. But when I leave here today, I'm actually going to call over there and speak to um, their HR because that was unprofessional, you know, and they're not gonna put it on me like I did something wrong. They was being unprofessional. If she's on the phone and people sitting around her laughing, knowing she's on the phone, in a professional setting,
Mm-hmm.
they supposed to quiet because she's on the phone. Did I have to use profanity? No. But did she have to be rude and then enable them and act like I was asking for too much? I wasn't asking for too much. So that's that. But now I'm trying to switch to life stance, which is in Williamsburg too. And the thing about them, they don't prescribe injections. I take injections. So I'm gonna have to switch to pills. And the pills been making me sicker than the injection, but which is strange. And it's not because I've been on the medicine a long time. I don't think they're giving me the same version of the medicine, and this version is actually making me sicker. Maybe they're giving me a stronger dose because my body's getting used to it and it's been on it for too long, but I seriously doubt that because I would have these same side effects I'm having now with the injection when I'm in the hospital, like in 2006, 2007, with the rhinitis, the runny nose. When I would get out the hospital, the Dr. Seth would switch me back
Mm-hmm.
to the Risperdal injections.
Mm-hmm.
All those side effects went right away. But now, all of a sudden, it's supposed to be the same Risperdal, and I'm having bad side effects from it. Rhinitis, runny nose when I eat, you know, mucus build up, which ain't gonna do anything but lead me to have a stroke or a heart attack, but I don't think that's any of their concern, you know.
So I want to make sure we are continuing all sessions.
Yes.
Okay. Let me put that up there before she throws something in. Because I didn't know exactly what it was that you wanted to do
Yeah.
when you changed that. Hold on.
I had messaged you.
I
Um,
got the message for the
um,
for to continue, but I didn't know exactly what it
yeah.
was that you wanted me to do. I want to make
Yeah.
sure we was good. Okay, it'll
And
come up.
like, for example, the only reason
Okay.
why I cursed at them
So,
was because it's to the point where people don't even hide their disrespect anymore. They disrespectful right to my face. And I figured, hey, maybe they were laughing at me. Maybe someone said a joke, or she was on the phone, like, making faces like and by default they knew she was talking to me. Who knows? But yeah, it's getting to the point where the disrespect is blatant. And I was talking to my cousin, and he was saying the same thing. And my mom says almost as if they teasing me. I think the community of Williamsburg is kind of tired of this, and now they teasing and picking, hoping I check myself into a hospital or end up in a, because that's was something I was looking into doing. Like maybe 2, 3 months ago, I was looking into going to the pavilion. I spoke to them and everything, and because the only reason why I was going to quit smoking cigarettes, I wasn't going there because I needed to be there. But I tried to do rehab, but they said, well, it's a cigarette addiction. We're not going to put you there. But they'll put me in jail. They'll put me in mental hospitals. I'm not mentally ill, but you put me in mental hospitals. I ain't break the law, but you put me in jail. You know, but you can't put me in a rehab, something that's actually beneficial. They kind of do what they want to do. But back to what I was saying, the community is kind of tired of this. But again, like the people that got me on the medicine, they said, that they not in the business of worrying about people's feelings. And these are the same people they employ and give earpieces to do their bidding for them. They talk about them, disrespect them, and if I think negative thoughts about them that's disrespecting them or offending them, they let them hear. And then they tell me, well, they don't care. They're not in the business of worrying about people's feelings. I care about people's feelings. Even if people violate me, listen to my thoughts, I don't want to be offending them. Because I'm not that kind of person, and I'm not confrontational, and, I'm not someone, I gossip. Everyone gossip, but to like dog people, I've never been that kind of person to just say a bunch of mean and hateful things to someone just for no reason, and but I do gossip. Everybody gossip. I don't gossip as much as I did when I was younger because I grew up maturity. But and even then, my friends can trust me with information. So it's not a thing where you know I was like a drama king and was always beefing with somebody because I was running back talking about them behind their back or anything like that. That's not the case. They try to make that to be the case, but I've been on this medicine for 18 years and I can name more people than I can. There's more people I can not name that I can name that I hadn't talked about than I have. And that's kind of that. But yeah, but these people, they really are not trying to help themselves. Like, and as far as the beats, the reason why I haven't been doing the beats like that because I got thin walls at my apartment, and my neighbor under me, which is a kid, he be yelling, he be making all kind of noise downstairs. And one time he was yelling, talking about I sacrificed myself for Pakistan.
How old is he?
Probably about 14, 15, maybe even 16. Yeah, he was yelling, I sacrificed myself for Pakistan, I sacrificed myself for Pakistan. And then one day I was doing beat and I heard him say, I hate niggas. And that kind of killed, not just those two incidents, but that kind of killed morale for me wanting to go in my studio bedroom, And I don't even cut my speakers on. I keep my headphones on. I've been doing that for about I'd say anywhere from 7 to 8 months now, almost a year. So they can't say I'm making a lot of noise. And when I do have my speakers on, I do it at, appropriate times, like 11 o'clock in the day, off by 9 o'clock at night, Whereas there's times where his father, 8:30 in the morning, he got the music blasting in the whole building, or 11:30 at night playing music loud. So, we ain't gonna put that on me like, oh, my speakers are loud, this and the third. And when he ain't, cursing at his girlfriend, or the little kid ain't yelling, "I hate niggas," or I sacrifice myself for Pakistan. You know, you know, the government, ain't trying to help themselves. You know, it's a lot of things they can do to help themselves. And personally, they figure they hold all the cards, so they do what they want to do. And it's not just my situation that's handled poorly. Look at COVID. Look at just American politics in general. It's to the point where, if you ask me, I think our politicians and leaders looking for the next big thing to create controversy. Like, what is it, Tennessee or Kentucky? One of them was trying to pass a bill to bring back, I think we talked about this before, to bring back murder by firing squad.
I don't remember talking about that.
Yeah, yeah. It's either Kentucky or Tennessee, I can't remember. But yeah, they trying to bring back murder by firing squad. Are we animals now? Why even women forcing women to have babies? You know, saying they pro-life. They pro-life until they want to drop bombs on somebody. You know, so, it's just, our government is just outrageous. Julian Assange, him, a news reporter that owned a website, and the CIA done offered contracts on his life. They trying to pin charges on him. Information that he didn't steal himself. He just put it on his website. They violating all the Constitution and our rights. And so look at all the things that's being handled poorly. So this is no exception. Like, everything that they touch turn to shit right now. And I don't think it has to be that way. I think it's intentional. I think they intentionally do that and to create controversy. Like the Democrats wanting men to play women's sports. Do you agree with that? I don't agree with that. That's just wrong. You know, but most of the people in Democrats that are pushing that, all they in their 60s and 70s. I bet all their children are grown and out of school. If their 12-year-old or 8-year-old child who was a girl had to compete against a guy that same age, they would have a problem with it. But all their children are grown. CRT, that ain't gonna do no good for the youth. And I'm actually not for the reasons you may think. I think it's gonna kill white morale. I'd rather them teach about black accomplishments than what the white person done to us. Throughout history. Build up our morale like you build up your own. But no, they want dysfunction, disruption, and division. Talk about Mansa Musa. You know who that is? An African leader who's considered the richest person in the world. Tell us stuff about like that. You should have been teaching us stuff like Hidden Figures, with Taraji P. Henson, which is based on a true story. They should have been teaching that in school. Don't wait till you think it's convenient for black people to be excellent, to want to show these things. They didn't teach that when I was in school. They'd teach about how you was a slave, because that don't kill morale. That teaching us about black history and slavery tells black people they gotta fight for what they want. Whereas Mansa Musa's black people that accomplish things, made things, they don't want you to know that you're great, basically. They don't want black people to know that we're great, and we are just as smart as they are, can achieve just as much as they can. They rather show us we thugs and criminals. That's why you see hip hop get more respect than a black doctor, and they look at the Kyrie versus John Morant. Kyrie says something about a book that won't even anti-Semitic in the sense of him being trying to be anti-Semitic. It's more based in truth, and that's another thing. Anything you say about a Jewish person that can be true, absolutely true, would get written off as anti-Semitic. The facts are never anti-Semitic. The facts are the facts. And Kyrie recommended a book on Amazon that Amazon is advertising, not him. He didn't write the book. They ended his Nike contract, but John Morant can walk around and flash a gun not once but twice, and Nike keep him. You know, they love showing black on black crime. That's profitable. You know, but black unity, they don't want us to have that. Didn't J. Edgar Hoover say that? The biggest threat to American national security is black unity. And I kind of have a problem with that myself because I feel like, other than my community and people that know me all my life, I don't feel a lot of support from the black community. You know, I feel like we are basically being, you know, and I talked about this with Murray. You know, I said to Murray when she was my therapist, I was like, if black and white people could find a balance,
Uh-huh.
you know, and what I mean by that is, black folks tend to be more forward, say what's on their mind. That's good at times, and then at times that can be bad. White people tend to be not forward and what's the other word? Not forward and silent, which not forward is good at times, and silent is good at times. If we could have a balance of both, where when something needs to be forward, it's forward. When something for a bigger picture needs to be done for a bigger picture, or not said because of a bigger, because of its implications, then that needs to be done. But I find that I get more flack from black people than white people, knowing that white people probably care about me even less, you know, and you know, and not to say black people care or don't care about me, they seem to have some animosity. White people do too, but it's one of those things where, you know, um, how can I put this? Basically, people are judging me based upon my thoughts. You know, who would be like being judged upon their thoughts? You know, you can go to my community, and they done already said, I can name at least 3 or 4 people that said Terrell's not how they describe it. You know, and basically, it's propaganda, to make me look a certain way, and the black elite are the worst ones. They are basically doing all the dirt for the white people. Like, for example, they send black people out to do the things that they don't want to do themselves, or to say the things that they don't want to say themselves. And nobody's perfect, but to say that I deserve this is just foolish. You know, um, for example, I give you an example. Like, I was Anita Blanton. I think that's how you pronounce her last name. She's a news anchor. It was her and a white news anchor on TV, and she was, talking. And they was indirectly talking about me, through someone else. And she was like, the white anchor was like, he comes from a good family, in which I do. And Anita Blanken looked at her and gave her the side eye, like, yeah, right. So, charting about, let's look at it like this. When you look at education wise, statistically wise, with education, financial freedom,
Mhm.
white people have us beat. You know, not because they are better than us. It's just we come from slavery. We got a lot of catching up to do. So when Anita Blanton looked at her, like, yeah, right. What is her ranking system? Because why is it the white person think I come from a good family and the black person think I don't? But do you know what reality is? The white person was likely thinking the same thing, and she was baiting Anita to defend black culture publicly on TV. So she basically baited her to say what she was thinking and couldn't say because it'd be considered racist. So she baited Anita Blanton to say it, and she did it like a dummy. And I do come from a good family. I got a
Why do you
brother.
think she would look at you and think that you didn't come from a good family?
I don't know why she felt that way. Look, I come from a small town.
Mhm.
Granted, you know, there's not a lot of black millionaires.
Okay.
So, given that, when I was put on the day I first started taking this medicine, we didn't even have a Walmart. So you only had a job at a hotel, resort, or which was ties in, or the hospital. Those was the biggest jobs that you could have, biggest businesses that employed a lot of people.
So when you telling me good family, you mean financially?
No, financially we do pretty good for a black family. My uncle is a licensed electrician.
No, I mean when you say,
I don't know what was the basis for her to say we don't, because, for example, the my family that I grew up with, of all my first cousins, they all made something of themselves. I was considered the black sheep, and even my work ethic was impeccable. For example, 18 years old, my brother joined the Navy, been all around the world. First cousin joined the Marines right out of high school. Other cousin, first cousin, she graduated from ODU, joined the Air Force. Her brother, out of high school, joined the Army. You know, Now their brother, right now, he's in charge of a wine cellar, wine business. So we small town people, but we did all right for ourselves. And me, I had a good work ethic where I was a workaholic, and all I did was work. I worked every day for 3 months, 7 days a week. So I come from a working family. We didn't party. We went in and out of jail. We went to work, came home. What you can do in a small town. It wasn't, none of my family members that joined the military sat around till they was 24, 25, partying every day, drinking, doing drugs every other day, and said, hey, I'm doing nothing with my life. Why don't I join the military? They made decisive decisions to join the military right out of high school. By a year after graduating high school, all of them was in boot basic training. So I don't know what her ranking system is for what is defined of a good family, because usually what's defined as a good family is not about your deeds, it's how much money you got in your bank account. Because if you ask anybody in America, they say George Bush come from a good family. They crooked as hell, but they rich. Good family standards is how much you got in your bank account, not by your deeds. So I don't know what Anita was getting at,
okay.
but because the government made, and my brother went AWOL once I was put on this medicine. My ex-girlfriend quit college. A lot of people around me made sacrifices because of this situation. You know, my mom stopped paying some of her bills and was paying mine. Got her car repoed. So a lot of people made sacrifices
Mm-hmm.
that they shouldn't have made, but they couldn't see the future to know how things was gonna play out and play out for so long. And when I say see the future, I mean it was gonna take this long, or that it would last this long. So they made, decisions. My brother went AWOL, you know, and because he was supposed to go off to sea for 6 months, but why would he do that when his brother was just roofied with a mind reading medicine and basically being held hostage? So he wouldn't have been no good to the military anyway with all this going on back at home with his brother. So he went AWOL. He went to his captain or leader or whatever and asked for time off, for leave. They wouldn't approve it. But then they talk about family, military talk about family.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what Anita Blanton ranking system is, you know, and but it ain't even about what it was. None of that really matters, you know, because I'm making an ass out of myself and it reflect poorly on my family. She figured that she can say that based upon my actions, not my family's. But what? How else could it be? How else could it be? Is this a situation that's meant to be? Um, uh, what's the word I'm looking for? Meant to be tasteful. This is not tasteful. Dignified. Is this a dignified situation? Me being on this medicine and people listening to my thoughts. That ain't no dignity. That's not dignified. It's not a dignified situation. They singled me out. They could have gave this medicine to anybody in America, and they singled out me. So they wasn't the expectation, and I'm not discrediting myself, but the facts are the facts. At the time of this, a week before I was put on this medicine, I smoked pot regularly. I was a workaholic and a high school dropout. What about those things? A high school dropout, no college degree, smoke pot every day, says this who we want to represent America. And these are the facts. Nothing about this said, hey, this is the person I want to be the face of this medicine and represent America if we have well intentions. But it was designed to be a shit show, you know, because before you even factor in me being on the medicine, who's the key players? Young Jeezy, Jay-Z, T.I., Cameron, just named 4 other high school dropouts. So the bar wasn't set that high to begin with. They put me on this medicine to be a tool of destruction, not a tool of success. They use me to be a tool of destruction, not a representation of America. So when I look bad, you know, and even myself, I don't behave this way typically, but they brainwashed me in a lot of ways to be what I am today, and where they ain't brainwashed me, they abused me, shamed me, and humiliated me to where I really don't care what people think about me. Would they gave this, if they wanted someone to meet the Queen of England and sit down and have a cup of tea with her, would they came to me to do that? So why come to me to take this medicine? If the Queen of England was coming to America before she passed, you think they're gonna come to Langston County and say, hey Terrell, we want you to meet the Queen? No, they wouldn't. So why come to Langston County and say, hey Terrell? Well, they didn't say that. They just roofied me and put me on the medicine. So this is not. And I tell you, like my boss man in Gloucester, who's a black guy and a preacher, he said, yeah, you can pay a crackhead $20 to watch 3 cars, but why would you want to? Do you get what he's trying to say? Why would you take shortcuts and take advantage of someone? Is what he was saying. He said, yeah, you can pay a crackhead, $20 to watch a few cars, but why would you want to? Why would you want to? So why would you want to do that? If you gonna have somebody wash your car, pay them what the job is worth. So yeah, so it's one of those things where this was doomed from the get go. It was always gonna be a shit show, you know. And instead of them taking accountability and responsibility for it being a shit show, they figure, let's slander Terrell. Let's make Terrell look bad to compensate where we lack, you know, and where we was wrong at. You know, it's plenty of things. Basically, they lying about omission, you know, and and basically they're using black people. You know, white elites are using black elites. You know, you want to see the real America? Look at the Oscars, the Grammys, the EGOT. Look at the award shows and look at the audience. 90% white people, maybe 5 or 10% black or minorities, people of color. That's the America. Look at Congress. Look at Senate. 90% white. That's America. You know, when they try to act like America is what um, racially equal and basically, you know, they try to act like when you see like what is the name AOC and a group of Democrats, the black I forgot what they call them. It's like 3 or 4 black and Arab and Hispanic politicians. They like to throw them front and center like that's the face of the Democrat Party. Like Barack Obama is the face of the Democrat Party. Joe Biden because he was Barack's vice president. That's not the face of America. America is the EGOT, 90% white, Senate, 90% white. That's the real America. This whole black excellence that everybody think is going on, and basically the white replacement theory, it's not white replacement theory going on like these Trump supporters say. Now it is something, they are seeing something, and I'm seeing it too. But where they say white replacement theory, I call it matter of semantics, black manipulation theory. And reason being, they're using and manipulating and taking advantage of blacks right now because partly because of my circumstances, you know, and for all the lies that black elites are telling on me, for all the secrets that black elites are keeping of theirs, which would justify a lot of things that's going on with me and justify a lot of my behavior that they keep in secret and try to act like it's all me, they're getting rewarded for. They rewarding blacks for being disloyal to their own community. You know, and they're taking it. Obama presidency. You think if this situation wasn't going on with this medicine, we would ever had a black president as soon as we did? You could tell it was an anomaly because the reaction we got after that, Donald Trump. America wasn't in a place to where a black man should have been president. How we go from Bush to Obama? You know, that was abrupt. You know, I could see 50, 60 years from now having a black president. But a lot of this stuff is being forced on the American people. And it's causing division and outrage because old people are still alive that are Jim Crow racists, you know, and it's unfortunate that it's that way, but that's the reality, you know, and a lot of this stuff is being forced on people, and the same people, the same people that put Obama in office are ultimately the ones that put Trump in office, you know, and basically Obama stood for hope, black coming up in the world, black excellence, hope, change. That was his slogan, change. Yes, we can. Yes, we will. Hope. And, you know, a lot of older white people saw that as America going backward, going downhill, you know, and that's how they felt, but they kept it to themselves. They kept it to themselves. And if that's their opinion, that's their opinion. They still stuck on old ways. They stuck on old ways. You know that when they grew, a lot of them when they was young, it was Jim Crow. But the people that control the government saw that void and knew how white people was really feeling about Obama, and they said, well, let's make another puppet. Let's make a racist one that's gonna undo everything Obama did and accomplish for his community or the people in general.
So you
And
saying Obama was their puppet?
yeah, oh Trump is too. Trump's a puppet too. You know, Trump's a puppet, Obama's a puppet. They positives and negatives are the same battery. You know, because Trump, you know, he's a puppet because what is really patriotic about Trump? He say a lot of patriotic stuff, but what's really patriotic about him? What is really American about him? His wives are foreign. Everyone he had, his businesses, a lot of that, Mexicans and Chinese. You know, they say he dodged the draft. So, but he speak a language that people that call themselves patriots can relate to. Is it his voice or his words? No. People came to Trump and said, hey Trump, we got a void that need to be filled. We want you to have these talking points. We want you to say these things. And in return, we'll make you the president of the United States. And that's what happened. Same thing with Obama. You think Obama had presidential ambitions? You don't think it was some white man that walked up to Obama and had a secret meeting and said, we're going to make you the first black president?
I never thought about that.
That's how things work. You know, even to think that it was possible from Bush to him, that he had a chance. You know, that was all a ruse, you know, and Obama really didn't do anything for black people per se. He was just hope. And the same people that gave us hope and inspired us turned around and undid all of it and divided the country with Trump. And now we're more divided than we ever been. And blacks are coming up in the world, but then look at the black on black crime is getting worse. And what you're seeing is the numbers change, but the percentage stay the same. So are we really doing better than we was before Obama, or 2024 that we was doing in 2002? The youth is more violent than my generation. So, like, I feel like, you know, now they done got rid of affirmative action, right? Is it affirmative action? They got rid of that. That's just another way to keep the percentage the same. You know, so, you know, that's kind of how it is, you know, and the numbers change, but the percentage stay the same. You know, so, and next, the thing that's going to go is financial aid and things like that going to go away. To where even though the blacks are thinking the importance of education and getting educated, now they're going to have a hard time going to college. I give that another 5 or 10 years, that's where we're going to be. So we're going to, you know, just being set up for failure, you know, and, you know, so that's kind of how I see things, you know, and I'm not trying to be a smart ass, you know, but this all play a bigger part. It all plays into my situation. It's a give and take relationship. If the black elite gonna sacrifice my life, they have to get something in return. But what they're gonna get in return is gonna dissipate and dissolve to where they really ain't getting nothing anyway. And it's obsolete. That's the reality. So what are they really sacrificing me for? To gain something that's obsolete? You know, that's kind of reality. You know, but you know, they just playing the game, I guess. You know, going for self. You know, and my family struggling with my circumstances. I'm struggling with my circumstances. You know, no mother should have to see a child go through what I'm going and it can't, and they can stop it anytime they want. They gonna say they can't. They can make it better anytime they want. Even if they choose to go down this whatever this is, they can make this situation better for everybody. I you know, but the reality is they don't care, and this is something they would only do to a black person, you know, and that's sad because they could only get away with doing it to a black person, you know, and I think a lot of times, you know, and maybe I'm just young and I got a lot to learn about how things work. I'm pretty sure that I got a lot to do with it too, but in the sense of how can I put this, that how things work, and I've been saying this since 21. I didn't grow up in a Jim Crow America. I didn't grow up in a society where black people was considered inferior, so maybe we still got fragments of those old ways, and this is a case of that, but I wouldn't take like a teenager that's white or black and try to enforce my way of thinking on them, you know, my way of thinking on them. So why are 50 plus, 60 plus year olds enforcing their way of thinking? Because I was 21 when they put me on this medicine, practically still a kid. I wasn't even 21 for 6 months. I turned 21 in November. By that spring of the next year, I was on this medicine. So, and I'll be 30, and I'm 39, I'll be 40 this year. Going on 18 years that I've been on this medicine. And it's ridiculous. The nerve to think that this is okay. This situation is not very dignified. You really can't have dignity and be in this situation. It's stressful, it's embarrassing, it's humiliating, and it's one of those things where this is something we only do to black people because they're not equipped to do anything about it. And most of them, all we gotta do is throw some money their way, and I don't mean this, on our level, from an elitist level, like how they pay rappers to rap about what they rap about, how they, it's just one of those things where, you got the old saying that you always say, you gotta play the game. You gotta play the game. I think it's about time blacks stop playing the game, especially when it comes to this situation. Because that's an old saying that goes back before I was born, and we ain't evolved, and we ain't moving up the ladder fast enough to keep playing the same old game. And personally, I feel like this situation has done more for black people than Martin Luther King and Malcolm X combined. Because now, whether they pull a chair from under us or not, they're giving us a seat at the table. They putting black businesses in stores. They talking about giving us reparations. They'd have made a black man president, a black and Indian lady vice president. Without this situation, none of those things would have happened. And before upon say I'm crazy conspiracy theorist, white replacement theory. I consider it black manipulation theory. So as people coming to the same conclusion that this stuff is being fast-tracked, but they being biased in the sense of making it about them. And I guess to a degree I'm being biased about making it about me, but we're both kind of having the same conversation, and I wouldn't consider myself biased. I'm just being honest, but maybe you could look at me and think, well, I'm biased, or you don't share all my beliefs, or you share some of them. Maybe you feel you don't share my beliefs. But look at look at my situation. I'm trying to rationalize, why I'm in this situation. In the sense of why these things are going on. I ain't gonna say rationalize. I'm trying to rationalize. What am I trying to rationalize? I don't know. I don't know. But it's just one of those things where you know these things I'm only concerned with because of my circumstances. I guess that's the way to put it. I'm not really trying to be Martin Luther King or Cat Williams. You heard that. You see his thing, the way he got going on with him. Cat Williams. I'm not trying to be them. I just want to get off the medicine. And
Okay, wait a minute, hold on. You said Cat Williams did what?
you see what he got going on with the Shannon Sharp interview?
Oh.
Yeah, like I'm not trying to be Cat Williams or Martin Luther King. I just, I want people to live. I would love for people to hear everything I had to say and that I say and make their own opinion based upon it. Because personally, I feel the wool is being pulled over everybody's eyes. It really, to some degree, white people get affected by it, not like we do, but it affects everyone. And that's kind of just America. Everything always affects black people the most. Negative things anyway. COVID hit. Who get hit the hardest? And that's from a financial standpoint to why a lot of things affect us severely more than anyone else. And that's not our fault. It's just, we always on the front line with things. And with each generation, lesser and lesser, have to be on the front lines. They can be generals themselves, but and that's the case. Like, I got it better than my mom's generation. My mom got it better than her father's generation. That's kind of just the way it works. It should be fair, but it's not. That's just how the dice fall. But to say that this is cool, this situation is not cool at all. This is it's a human rights violation at the end of the day. And yeah, this is a human rights violation. And you can't legitimize it. You can't say anything I ever done in my life can justify roofing me with this medication. You can't say anybody can do that. Anybody does something to be roofied with this medicine. But yeah, like they doing this at the end of the day because they want to do it, not because they have to do it. But
Let's stop at this point.
yeah.